Ava DuVernay's new film, Origin, occupies a unique place against a growing category of movies. It's a narrative film based on a non-fiction book. In recent years, we've seen films like The Laundromat, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, and even Mean Girls adapt non-fiction works into movies, and I'll say sometimes the results have been a bit mixed. Now, I usually try to avoid the chatter around a movie before I see it, but I did see a few blurbs from critics who said they felt Origin should have been a documentary instead of a narrative film. But after seeing Origin, I have to say, I couldn't disagree more. Origin took me on a profound cinematic journey that definitely made me ugly cry in the movie theater. But beyond that, it left me with a genuine curiosity to learn more about the system of social caste. The movie is based on the book Caste, The Origin of Our Discontents by Isabel Wilkerson. Writer-director Ava DuVernay opted to focus on the author's personal journey in writing the book. When we first meet our central protagonist, played by Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor, we discover a successful journalist who has been asked by her publisher to consider writing a book on the death of Trayvon Martin. Rather than focus narrowly on the circumstances leading to Trayvon's murder, she decides to expand the scope of her reporting to the origin of racism itself. She travels around the world to Germany and India in order to study the connective threads between notable instances of social oppression. Along the way, she confronts personal setbacks and tragedies, at times highlighting the ways that the personal can be political. The film takes you as the viewer along the journey with Isabel Wilkerson. It's shot on location across the world, and you feel it. Especially for the scenes in India, I felt like I was discovering this immersive world alongside our central character. There's a grit but also a beauty to cinematographer Matthew J. Lloyd's shots. Many of the film's impactful moments are shot from a low angle, giving it both a sense of intimacy but also majesty. This is a film that has an epic scale, but it's told through a personal lens. And it should be said, there are many scenes in this film that are uncomfortable to watch. It hops between Wilkerson's work as an author to scenes from throughout history, including the Holocaust, slavery, the dehumanization of the people dubbed the Untouchables in India, and the murder of Trayvon Martin. Along the way, DuVernay opts to not create obvious visual aids to let you know what's a flashback and what's not. Historic moments aren't shot in black and white or some washed out sepia tones. Everything flows together. There were a few moments where I had to think about what time period I was viewing on screen, and then it became really horrifying when a moment that I thought was perhaps in the present day was actually a group of people gathered for a lynching in the Jim Crow South. The aesthetic choices in this film brilliantly highlight the ways that these time periods and scenes throughout history are connected together. But considering that this film is based on a nonfiction work, much of it functions almost like a cinematic essay rather than a conventional movie. This could easily have created a tone that's disjointed, but by taking the viewer alongside Wilkerson's path and writing the book, we're given the opportunity to discover these things along with her. And these discoveries are relevant to her plotline, which makes it more than just sitting down for a 2.5-hour lecture. Now, there are some moments in the film, particularly in some of the early conversations, where I felt like the dialogue was kind of forcing some of the concepts of the book into casual conversations in a way that just didn't gel. But by the end of it, everything still came together. There's also a wonderful supporting cast in this film. That's Caste, C-A-S-T. There's several actors I didn't know were in this film going into it. Niecy Nash, hot off her Emmy win, and Audra McDonald in particular give standout performances. Now, at the core of this movie is Isabel Wilkerson's investigation into the connections between racism and social caste systems. At times, we see her face some resistance from the people around her who disagree with the assertions about the connections between racism, slavery, and social caste. I suspect there's going to be some people who see this film, particularly people of color, who may find disagreements with the way some of Isabel Wilkerson's ideas are framed. But I don't think you have to agree with every assertion that Wilkerson makes in order to find this a compelling film. I haven't cried this hard at a movie theater in a long time. This film impacted me in a really powerful way and has stayed with me even days after watching it, and I highly recommend you see it as well. I give Origin 4.5 out of 5 stars. You can see it in theaters now.